Here's a list of tools you need to complete this job. New headlight lens, T25-bit screwdriver or socket, plastic trim tools, plastic trim clip tools, pick tools, a ratchet, some extensions, 8mm socket, 10mm socket, heat gun with temperature control, automotive grade butyl sealant, isopropyl alcohol or alcohol wipes, microfiber towels, optional, power ratchet, working gloves, spare plastic trim clips in case you break some in the process, flexible magnetic tool, plastic wrap, compressed air or duster, soft duster brush, various pliers, a knife, a vacuum, an LED inspection light. Affiliate links to everything I used are in the description. Let's start by removing the headlight. In my case, it's the left headlight, so I'm going to turn the wheels all the way to the right for better access. The assembly itself is secured by 3 bolts and 1 screw. For 2025 GLC 300, there's a service hatch for the bottom 8mm bolt. It's the longest bolt out of 3. These top 2 8mm bolts are the same length, but they are shorter than the bottom bolt. The final fastener is an 8mm screw. I'll use a flexible magnetic tool to make sure the screw doesn't drop into the engine bay. There are 2 clips at the bottom I'm going to use picks to lift the middle piece from, and then a special clip tool to extract. Here's the 3rd clip, located higher. All 3 clips are the same. And a 10mm bolt holding the fender liner to the fender. I will now detach the bottom side fender molding from the bumper using plastic trim tools wedged from the bottom. It helps to pull on the molding securing tabs from the inside of the fender if you can grab them with your fingers from behind. There are 4 tabs at the bumper. Rest of the molding is held to the fender by double-sided tape, no need to remove it. There are 2 more 8mm bolts that hold the fender and bumper together you can access from behind the liner. I will now use a plastic trim tool to carefully detach the bumper from the fender here, and wedge a microfiber towel in between to avoid scratches. I'll use the same tool to remove some of the tape used to insulate the headlight temporarily. We will need just a little bit more room to wiggle the headlight assembly out. No need to remove the bumper completely, but moving the grill forward a little bit should give us enough. I can now remove the 3 T25 screws . Note that it's held in 3 places. Each one of them has several positions to calibrate it. I'm going to make photos of each to make sure I put it back to the same positions during reassembly. I can now use a trim tool or a pick to make it easier to release the plastic tabs. It's enough to move the grill just a bit forward. Now carefully wiggle out the headlight assembly. Don't pull it fully up yet before disconnecting the harness at the back. Remove the rubber headlight protective skirt. Now, depending on availability, you can try and bake the headlight for 7–10 minutes at about 250 degrees Fahrenheit if your oven is big enough. Mine isn't, so I'm forced to use a heat gun. Mind you that heat is applied locally, so do not stay heating up one spot at a time. Move the nozzle constantly. The ideal heat gun temperature I found for this was about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. But the factory sealant was so resistant to heating, it took me several hours and a variety of tools to remove the lens, including trim tools, pick tools, and a knife. Remember that you have to undo several tabs holding the lens to the headlight to release it. Finally. And I will straighten some of the tabs that were bent during the process. I'll clean the trash left from the process. Now I will need to clean the inside of the headlight, since in my case some debris got there before it was temporarily sealed with tape. You might not need it. I'll use a combination of duster blower, picks, alcohol wipes, a duster brush and microfiber towels to remove as much of dirt and salt and make the reflectors as spotless as I can. Make sure to do it carefully. Avoid rubbing alcohol too much into the reflective surfaces, as you might accidentally wipe off some of the reflective layer. After a thorough cleaning and inspection, I'm satisfied with the condition. I'd call it a 95%. Some of the dust and minor marks are only visible at a palm's distance. Time to add the butyl sealant to the headlight assembly channel for the lens. Some prefer to use liquid sealant, and that might be better, but I thought that it would be messier, so I opted for the rope-type butyl sealant. It's really easy to shape and fit into the space where the new lens would go. Although it's really pliable, I will still need to heat it for better adhesion and closer fit. I will now put the new lens and push on it to be seated as evenly and tightly as I can. I will also apply force locally to push it together and make sure all headlight clips secure the lens's tabs. Looks good. I will remove the plastic wrap and reinstall the rubber protective skirt. Done. Here's before and after. I'll put new plastic wrap on the front surface of the lens to protect it from scratches during reinstallation. When reinstalling the assembly, you can connect the harness first, or you can leave it until later and connect it from the back through the fender liner, whatever is easier for you. I suggest testing your headlight first by connecting it and turning the lights on. Carefully wiggle the headlight back into its position. Make sure the top tabs are properly located to be able to secure them with the two top bolts. The rear one goes on top of the frame, whereas the front one goes under. Don't worry about the other two tabs for now. They should be positioned correctly if the top ones align. Try and position the headlight the way it will fit the fender without a gap. Put the two 8mm bolts in. Remember, they are the same length. And secure them. Now the only screw goes here. We'll get the bottom long bolt back later through the small hatch. Time to put back the bumper. Start with the grille. Clip the tabs in approximately and use the photos you've previously taken to position it the same way as they were before the disassembly. Good. Now secure them with 3 T25 screws. Done. Before the bumper goes back, I'll remove the plastic wrap from the lens. Now let's align the bumper tabs with the holes in the fender and push it in. You might need to squeeze the metal tab. There. Now the two 8mm bolts securing the bumper to the fender. This is the front one, closer to the headlight. And this is the rear one, closer to the wheel. The gap seems acceptable. Now bring the fender liner to the original position and reinstall the fender molding by firmly pushing all 4 tabs back in until they clip. Make sure it's flush. Put back the 10mm bolt securing the fender liner to the fender. And now the 3 plastic clips. 1, 2, 3. Finally, time for that bottom long 8mm headlight bolt. Close the hatch. Here's the headlight in action. DRL, low beams, high beams. This is complete now. Thank you for watching. Drive safe, use your turn signals, and remember, anything is possible with the right tools and motivation. See you next time!